very troubling times. But then we all need to overcome hurdles. That is all life is about. We need to move forward. Now, today we are organizing this webinar just to introduce the National Education Policy 2020. You all may have heard of it, but you're not very clear as to what it is all about. So what we have done today is trying to give you a brief overview of what and how things are going to change in the education field. Now this is going to be a shift towards competency-based teaching and learning and assessment. The focus will be on practical and application-based learning. We'll be moving away from rote learning. Till now, what had been happening was we considered those children who could memorize things as very good, and the whole system was based on marks. But now we are shifting from there into more of critical thinking, more of practical application, more stress more on vocational trainings. Now this transformation is going to be in the curricular and pedagogical structure. The structure till now was 10 plus 2, but what is going to happen is it's going to now be 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4. The 5 is the foundational stage, which will include 3 years of the pre-primary plus class 1 and 2, where the teaching will be more activity-based, play. And this is the focus on foundational stage. The next stage will be the preparatory stage, which is from class 3 to class 5, where we will continue with the activity-based teaching, but there will be a gradual introduction into formal classroom learning. And then the next 3 years, that would be from classes 6 to 8, it would be subject-oriented pedagogical and curricular methodology that will be pursued. And what will be stressed more is on vocational learning over here. Although in our school we have already had this in the form of work experiences, but this is more formal from CBSE, where children will be taught carpentry and woodwork and a number of other things, where we will have these experts coming in and teaching them, which later on in life will be a great help to the children. Then we go to the secondary stage, that is the 4-year stage, that is from class 9 to 12, and this will be a multidisciplinary stage where stress will be on greater critical thinking and greater flexibility in the student's choice of what they choose. There will be more frequent assessment modules, and the basic thing is a holistic assessment of the child. And what we will be doing away with would be the hard separations. Till now, after class 10, it was either science or commerce or humanities. But then that hard separation will go. If a child wishes to opt for physics and maybe history, it's according to the child's interest, that will be allowed. And what we are going to stress on, the NEP is going to stress on, is the unique potential of every child. That will be identified and nurtured. Shift is, as I said, and I repeat, shift is learning. It's more of shift in teaching, learning from rote to inquiry-based, critical thinking, cognitive learning, and applied methods. And also, together with this, we have we'll be stressing more on teaching of Indian languages. This will be more at the lower levels, where the child may not be able to follow the language of the school. Maybe like in our state, children are more conversant with Hindi and not English. So maybe we would, the NEP says so, that the Indian languages could be stressed more at the lower levels. And we will have more of this explanation through a PPT presentation right now.
Thank you, ma'am, and I welcome all the parents watching this webinar. Now, today we will understand the key points of National Education Policy 2020 and how it will be implemented in CBSE schools. Before we proceed, let's start with a quote said by Mr. Benjamin Franklin: "An investment in knowledge pays the best interest." So first of all, we will talk about the vision of the policy, National Education Policy 2020. The vision of the policy says that we need to develop an education system which is deeply rooted in Indian tradition, which has the capability to provide high quality education to compete in the global world. Basically, our students should be able to compete with the students, say in America or in other developed countries. ये एक बहुत बड़ा की पॉइंट है विजन है नेशनल एजुकेशन पॉलिसी 2020 में, और इसी को ध्यान में रखते हुए कि आवर स्टूडेंट्स शुड बी एबल और कैपेबल इनफ टू मैच विद द डिमांड्स इन द फ्यूचर. The curriculum and pedagogy must develop a sense of respect towards fundamental duties and Constitution of India and have a deep bond with the country. स्टूडेंट्स को ये फीलिंग आनी चाहिए कि वो इंडियंस हैं और उनके अंदर वो बॉन्डिंग हमेशा रहनी चाहिए. ये एक विजन है हमारी NEP 2020 का. We should develop a sense of pride and respect for the country and be responsible for human rights, sustainable development, global well-being, thereby reflecting a truly global citizen. We are living in the age where we cannot say we will be limited to a geographical area. So अब हमें ग्लोबल सिटीजन की तरह देखना चाहिए और हमें स्टूडेंट्स को वही सिखाना है कि they will be a good global citizens. So as we were talking about key principles, there are certain key points like respect for diversity and local context in all curriculum, pedagogy and policy. Because we Indians know that there are so many languages, there are so many religions, and we live with all these different languages, religions and caste and creeds. So that will be reflected that we should respect every local language or every citizen, every person. We should respect for everyone. There should be equity and inclusion of all. There should not be thing like this is a higher society or this is lower society. No, it should not be there. Community participation should be there. Encouragement and facilitation for philanthropic, private and community participation. That is a very important key principle of NEP 2020. We must learn to use the technology in teaching, learning, removing language barriers for Divyang students. The students who are not capable, they have lost their limbs. So for those, we must promote the use of technology. हमें उनको भी सभी को साथ लेके चलना है. NEP 2020 says that हम सभी को एक साथ देखें, किसी भी धर्म, जाति या लैंग्वेज से आता हो, कोई अशक्त है, कोई किसी तरह से सक्षम नहीं है, हमें उनको भी सपोर्ट करना है. तो टेक्नोलॉजी एक बहुत बड़ा रोल प्ले करेगा उसमें. We should emphasize conceptual understanding rather than rote learning and learning for exams. This is really very important point. by now we all have gone through all those years, and हम लोग भी जब बचपन में पढ़ते थे तो रट्टा मार के चले जाते थे, हम लोगों ने याद कर लिया, याद करके एग्जाम देना और स्कोर करना, ये उसको हटाना है. NEP 2020 wants to एग्जाम जाएंगे और स्कोर कर लेंगे. It should not be there. Rather than they should understand what is the concept before going for the exam. They should not go for the ratification. They should not go for rote learning. We must understand unique capabilities. Every child is unique. So हमें identify करना है कि हर बच्चे में क्या खास बात है और हमें उसको प्रमोट करना है. We must understand critical thinking and creativity. बच्चों की creativity में पहचाननी है, हमें encourage करना है logical decision making में और innovation में काम करना है. And continuously, based on sustained research and regular assessment by educational experts. So continuous review will help whether they are going along or not. Then the curricular and pedagogical structure is also changed. Previously we were having 10 plus 2. Now we have 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4. इसमें भी जो शुरू के 3 साल हैं वो आंगनवाड़ी या प्री स्कूल बाल वाटिका है, उसके बाद 2 साल क्लास 1-2 है, उसके बाद फिर आपके 3 साल हैं क्लास 3rd 4th 5th के लिए, then again we have 3 years class 6 7 8 के लिए, and then we have 4 years for class 9 to 12. So this is the new pedagogical and curricular structure. There are certain salient features of stages in school. In foundational stage there will be play or activity based learning. बच्चों को activities कराई जाएंगी और वो उसके थ्रू उनको सिखाया जाएगा. There will be focus on teamwork and cooperation. Then we will have preparatory stage जहाँ पे बच्चों का थोड़ा सा transition होगा from play based learning to more formal classroom learning पे आ जाएंगे बच्चे. पहले वो play way method से सीख के थोड़ा सा उनको आदत पड़ेगी कि वो classroom में बैठ सके. Interactive teaching learning will be part of this stage. Then we move on to middle stage. यहाँ पे subject oriented pedagogical and curricular methodology approach लिया जाएगा. Then finally we have a secondary or high school stage, 4 years of multidisciplinary study, जहाँ पे greater depth, greater critical thinking and greater attention to life aspirations. Means कि किसी बच्चे को क्या बनना है, किसी को फोटोग्राफर बनना है, तो वो भी आइडेंटिफाई किया जाएगा स्टेज पे. Greater flexibility and student choice, क्या बच्चे की चॉइस क्या है. अभी तक तो ये था, हमारे टाइम से आ रहा है कि साइंस और कॉमर्स और ह्यूमैनिटीज 3 में डिवाइड कर दिया. बच्चे को हो सकता है मिक्स इंटरेस्ट हो, एक तरफ उसको साइंस अच्छी लग रही है और एक तरफ उसको ह्यूमैनिटीज का कोई सब्जेक्ट अच्छा लग रहा है. सो अभी NEP 2020 यही देने वाला है. वी कैन हैव अ मिक्स बैग ऑफ सब्जेक्ट्स. नाउ शिफ्ट विल be more on competency based teaching, learning and assessment. NEP 2020 promotes critical and creative thinking aligned to the 21st century in classrooms, shifting the traditional assessments to competency focused. As I already told, rote learning को हटाना है, competency based learning पे जाना है. Student की progress को track करना है comprehensively and frequently, so that we can know that the student is going along. वो सही ट्रैक पे है कि नहीं. Now we will understand the highlights of pedagogical structure. There are some key points like competency-based education. So it will focus on the modules on preparing and implementing pedagogical plans based on competency and outcome-based education for school leaders. It simply means the focus will be on outcome, what the students have learned. What is the outcome? Then integration of subjects, integrated ICT integrated and storytelling based pedagogy come among others as standard pedagogy. There will be a mix of variety of integrations like sports and ICT. Then development of scientific temper. It will be tried that students have a temperament, scientific temperament. They should have a knowledge and practice of such as patriotism, sacrifice, non-violence, truth, honesty, peace, etc. Then no silos among subjects learning. This is very important point. Earlier we had to have the divisions like it is commerce, science and humanities, and we used to think that science is the best category, but these hard separations will no longer exist. Now there is no hard separation between curricular, co-curricular or extracurricular activities or academic or vocational. There is no hard separation between science and humanities, or we can say commerce as well. Sports, art, academics, there is no hard separation now in NEP 2020. There will be more focus on digital literacy and promotion of multilingual teaching. The states will hire the language teachers. Then we have some very main points like scientific temper for the students, digital literacy, collaboration, problem solving, communication, critical thinking, creativity, health and fitness, social responsibility, ethics. All these key points will be in focus, and the students will learn these things. There will be introduction of some contemporary subjects like artificial intelligence, holistic health, data sciences, and if we talk about data sciences, the machine learning is very important. Machine learning एक तरीके का वो लर्निंग है जिसमें मशीन सीखती है, कंप्यूटर्स को हम ट्रेन करते हैं. से फॉर एग्जांपल ट्रैफिक लाइट्स होती हैं जहाँ पे आजकल ऑटोमेटिकली चालान जो करता है, वहाँ पे वो उसमें मशीन को ट्रेन किया गया है कि किस तरह से किसी कार की नंबर प्लेट को लेना है, फिर उसको पर्टिकुलर उस नंबर प्लेट को ही रीड करना है. सो मशीन लर्निंग बेसिकली मशीन ये आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस का पार्ट है. दिस इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर द अपकमिंग एज. डिजाइन थिंकिंग, ऑर्गेनिक लिविंग, दीज आर सम इंट्रोडक्शन ऑफ कंटेम्परेरी सब्जेक्ट्स. Then we move on to year-long course during grades 6 to 8. Survey and hands-on experience of a sampling of important vocational crafts such as carpentry, electric work, metal work, gardening, pottery making, decided by states and local communities and as mapped by local skilling needs. Basically, यहाँ पे ये मतलब है कि बच्चों को जो वोकेशनल चीजें हैं वो उस पर फोकस किया जाएगा, उनको सिखाया जाएगा. जैसे लोकल स्किल्स हैं, जो आपके क्राफ्ट्स हैं, कारपेंट्री है, इलेक्ट्रिक वर्क है, इस तरह की और भी बहुत सारी चीजें हैं, वो बच्चों को सिखाई जाएगी. एंड जो लोकल कारपेंटर है या कोई इलेक्ट्रिशियन है उसके थ्रू डायरेक्टली. देन वी हैव मैथमेटिक्स एंड कंप्यूटेशनल थिंकिंग. नहीं है transforming assessments and tracking student progress across school years. These are certain benchmarks. The students will move from grade 3, 5, 8, 10, 12 और जो उस तरह से वो आगे बढ़ेगा कि test core concepts and move away from rote memorization. उसको rote memorization जो याद करने की चीज है, जो ये बिल्कुल रट्टा मारते हैं बच्चे, वो उससे दूर करना है. बच्चों को concept सिखाना. कंडक्ट असेसमेंट्स फॉर ऑल स्कूल्स, गवर्नमेंट हो या प्राइवेट स्कूल हो, सभी जगह असेसमेंट हो रहा है. स्टूडेंट डेटा इज एनोनिमाइज्ड, पब्लिक डिस्क्लोजर बाय स्कूल्स ऑफ देयर ओवरऑल आउटकम्स. बच्चों का डेटा एनोनिमाइज करके रखा जाएगा, उसको उसकी आइडेंटिटी रिवील नहीं करनी है. यूज डेटा फॉर कंटिन्यूअस मॉनिटरिंग एंड इंप्रूवमेंट. उसका रिपोर्ट कार्ड, उसके जो भी आउटकम्स हैं, जो इसका प्रोग्रेस है, दैट विल बी रिव्यूड और उसकी कंटिन्यूअस मॉनिटरिंग होगी कि हाँ वो सही जा रहा है, वो सही ट्रैक पे है कि नहीं. अचीवमेंट ऑफ बेसिक लर्निंग आउटकम्स थ्रू असेसमेंट ऑफ कोर कॉन्सेप्ट्स एंड नॉलेज फ्रॉम द नेशनल एंड लोकल करिकुला along with relevant higher order skills and application of knowledge in real life situation rather than rote memorization. किसी पर्टिकुलर सिचुएशन में उसको क्या करना है. मान लीजिए एक बच्चा है, वो कहीं रास्ते में छूट गया, अपने मम्मी पापा से अलग छूट गया है, अब वो उसको उस सिचुएशन में क्या करना चाहिए, ये एक रियल लाइफ सिचुएशन है. तो इस तरह की चीजों को बच्चों को सिखाया जाता है. The report card is also redesigned now. Report card में जो basic चीज है, it will be 360 degree holistic report card. उसमें पूरा बच्चे का पूरा सिस्टम समझ में आ जाएगा कि अच्छा बच्चा ये कैसे कर रहा है, क्या कर रहा है. अभी तक तो सिर्फ मार्क्स पे ज्यादा फोकस रहता था. Now it will be showing the progress in project based and inquiry based learning. Quizzes, role plays, group work, portfolio, etc. Self assessment and peer assessment. टीचर का असेसमेंट क्या है, इंटरैक्टिव क्वेश्चनर्स फॉर पेरेंट टीचर एंड स्टूडेंट्स, progress in cognitive, affective and psychomotor domains. So the report card will be of different kind. It will reflect the holistic development, 360 degree holistic report card now.
We will also monitor the progress in cognitive, affective and psychomotor domains. There will be interactive questionnaires for parents, teachers and students, and there will be also a teacher-based assessment. So, we see that NEP 2020 aims to support and nurture teachers also through all the phases of their tenure. That means development of resource material, handbook on experiential learning will also be as far as student enrichment activities are concerned. We will have Bhatt Gadit Challenge, Heritage India Quiz, EBSB activities, CBSE Science Challenge, Science Exhibition, Hello India, Expression Series, Reading Challenge and many more. So to summarize, let us focus on the major changes which have been there in NEP 2020 and how they will be implemented in CBSE schools. We all know that the Right to Education Act 2009 gave children the right to school education from classes 1 to 8. Now, NEP focuses that it will add 3 years of pre-primary education, including the role of nursery in formal education. Various studies for decades have shown the importance of learning and exposure in the ages of 0 to 6 and its impact on the child's future. Children who are not able to read by the age of 10 usually find it challenging to grasp what is taught in higher classes without foundational learning. It also recommends teaching in the mother tongue. So to do this, 2 levels of education will be there. Like many students have difficulty with subjects like maths and science. So keeping that in mind, 2 levels of mathematics will be introduced. Basic mathematics and a higher, tougher level for those who want to make a career in the sciences. Less board exam stress. While for the present time board exams for standard 10 and 12 will continue, next session onwards, the board system will change from one exam to continuous evaluation, with the final exam not being as important, with exams having both objective and subjective types of questions. That makes learning relevant, transparent and fair. Skills more important than rote learning, realizing that artificial intelligence and robots will soon replace all type of repetitive tasks. NEP 2020 will teach vocational education like coding, electronics, carpentry, along with the regular school curriculum from class 6 onwards, which is now defined as the beginning of secondary education. So, if for any reason a child dropped out of school but had basic knowledge of mechanics, he would still have a skill that would aid him. Now, we will have a 360-degree education. The child at the age of 12 or 15 will know what he or she is going to do for the rest of their life. So from standard 6 onwards, children will be exposed to a variety of disciplines. They will be allowed to study whatever interests them. A child studying computers may want to explore literature or anything else. A civil engineer building a dam needs to understand its environmental consequences. With that, we come to the end of today's webinar. Thank you everyone. Wish you all the best and happy learning. Thank you once again.